Hey guys, Ike here from Mike'sOutdoors.com. I'm here today to do a review on the PSE Evolve 31. Now I'm going to do things just a little bit different in this video. I'm going to use my quick stand bow holder here, and I'm actually going to give you a close-up on the bow rather than seeing me in the picture. You guys don't want to see me, you want to see the bow. So while I'm running over the actual specs on this bow, we're just going to do a nice little close-up here and give you guys a look at how good this bow looks. Alright, this is the PSE Evolve 31, like we mentioned before. This has on their website they list an IBO and an ATA rating. Now the IBO rating, I'm sure you're all familiar with. The ATA rating is a little bit more of a real world speed than what the IBO speed is. The IBO speed rating on this is 346 feet per second. The ATA is going to be 338 feet per second. So we're going to test it out and see if we can get close to that 338 feet per second with our setup, or as the way we set it up in our different heavy arrows. The brace height on this is 6 1/4, so it's got a short brace height on it. ATA on this is 31. Again, the nice compact hunting bow, but you'll notice 31 inches from axle to axle, and the limbs are really parallel, really preloaded, so it's got a good long riser on there for better stability. Let off on this in this new Evolve cam is what's amazing about this bow. This has 80 to 90% let off, and with this bow, man, that 90% let off is awesome. It is really, really comfortable to hold at full draw. You can really hold it for a long period of time, and it is just fantastic shooter with that 90% let off on it. Draw lengths are available on this in 24.5 to 30 inches, and this is a module-based cam, rotating module on here, so you can just change that by loosening a couple bolts and sliding that thing over. Draw weights on this, it's only available in peak weights of 60 and 70 pounds. The overall weight on this bow, bare bow, is 4.3 pounds. It's available in black, breakup, shadow, and which is what I've got here. I've got the breakup shadow on this one, and it's available in Skullworks too. Now, like I said before, this has the new Evolve cam on it. This is 80 to 90% let off on here. It's got a really good draw cycle. It builds up a little bit, and then pretty quickly starts to go down, and by the time you get to full draw with that 90% let off, man, you're not holding hardly any weight at all. This thing is super nice at full draw. This has a forged aluminum riser on here, so this is a really nice, stable, stiff riser on here. You got some dampeners on here. It's got a really cool design to it. I really like the riser design. You got kind of a fang look back here. You got your red inserts there to absorb vibration, so those look really nice, really cool. This also has the new wide track limb system on here, which will turn it towards you and show you the wide track limbs on here. They are really, really nice wide limbs. I hate a split limb bow that's got thin limbs on it. I just never have really liked that. This also has the wedge lock speed pocket on here, which you'll see right here. This is a nice, really, really stable way of securing your limbs on there. It's a really, really solid limb pocket system, and just a really good way of securing those limbs. Make sure they're not going to move around. Let me turn this back for you again. This also has on here, we've got dampers on the bottom, which I just popped one out. Put that back on here. This also has the roller glide cable guard on here, which is a nice addition to this. You can see this cable guide is bent backward, and not only do we have rollers here, we have a roller on the back side. So as I draw this bow back, it is going to travel right along the curve of that roller cable to eliminate some of the flex on this riser and eliminate some of the flex on those cams. So it's going to give you a better overall feel for the bow, and it's going to give you a little bit better accuracy with that cable glide system on there. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to take this thing over and we're going to test the draw cycle on it. We're going to shoot it through our chronograph and see how fast we can get this thing with some real world speeds, and then we're going to take it over and we're going to do a little bit of shooting with this thing. This is a speed test on the PSE Evolve 31. This bow is set at 27.5 inches draw length. This bow is set at 70 pounds of draw weight, and we have about 20 grains of weight on the string. We have a D-loop and a peep sight. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit different in this speed test than I do in the other ones. Everything else is the same. The only thing I've done is I've changed the position of the camera. The position of the camera now is directly in front of the bow. I'm shooting the bow right over the top of the camera through the chronograph. So I'm hoping that that'll give you an idea of the sound on this bow. Now this bow has no vibration dampening material on it added to it. It only has the factory vibration dampening material on it, and we're going to shoot some really lightweight arrows here through this bow. So the first one in our speed test is a 350 grain arrow. .310. Now our next one is a 380 grain arrow. .297. Next we have my hunting arrow, which is a small diameter arrow that weighs in at 425 grains. Shot plumb through both my targets. .278. Last one here is our heavyweight arrow, and this one's going to weigh in right at 355 grains. I'm sorry, 455 grains. This is our heaviest arrow of the test. .275. Kinetic energy on those heavy arrows is just off the charts. That's going to put you somewhere up in the range of 80 foot-pounds of kinetic energy with those heavyweight arrows. The lightweight arrow, the 350 grain arrow, again, really close. To see, we're shooting everything IBO except for the draw length with that arrow, and at 27.5 you'd add about 25 feet per second, so that should put it at about 335 feet per second, which is really close to their ATA setting. It's a little bit short of the IBO setting by 8 to 10 feet per second, but still producing plenty of energy and plenty of speed. Alright, before we do some shooting with this bow, I want to mention a couple things about this cam system. This new Evolve cam has some really cool features to it. One, it is a string stop on here, and you can see the string stop right there. Inside the string stop, it has just a tiny little piece of rubber inserted in there. So when you come around, instead of being metal to that string stop, it's going to be, or to that string and cable, it's going to be a small piece of rubber. That does give it just a little bit of pull at the back, but it's overall, it's a really solid back wall and not bad at all. The other thing about this is to help eliminate some of that cam lean, they have a harness system on here. This harness system, rather than pulling from one side like the traditional binary cam is going to do, is going to pull from both sides, and that's going to help eliminate some of the cam lean in this bow. So I'm going to shoot quite a variety of arrows here. I just grabbed a handful of arrows, some of our speed test arrows and other things, to show you how quiet this bow really is. So the first one we're going to shoot here is 380 grain arrow, and we're just going to shoot a bunch of different weights. You'll notice on the draw cycle on this, when we did our test, you can see it built up pretty good, levels out for a few inches, and then drops off. Now, it doesn't drop off the edge. It doesn't. You'll notice when I'm pulling it back, I'm not just jerking it back. It really has a pretty nice draw cycle to it. And the 90% let off is amazing. When you get this bow back, you almost have to force it forward if you want to let down. Grip is really nice. I really like the grip on this. It's, it's machined into the riser. It's just part of the riser. It's a really nice, comfortable grip, rounded, no harsh edges to it. I like the front of the grip too. It just, my fingers fall right in the groove for tuning, which it has a tuning groove in the front and one here to get your rest set up. But it feels really nice. I don't know why, but I love the grip because of that mark. My hand falls in there and it gets my fingers lined up, and it makes it a very repeatable grip for me. So overall, like I said, the grip is fantastic. Draw cycle, a little bit of a hump, and then it drops off. And when you get it back, like I said, 90% let off. You can hold it for a long time. You can see a guy can really relax. I'm not pushing with my left arm at all. My right hand, I'm gonna let it forward a little bit. Like I said, it's almost, you almost got to let the thing, you almost got to push it forward. It's amazing, the let off on this. Back wall's pretty solid, got a little bit of give to it, but overall not bad. And you can see, just standing here holding it, this is the second round of arrows I've shot through this thing, so I've already done this once and forgot to hit play, so I can hold it for quite a bit of time and not really feel a lot of fatigue. Now, I've got to point it down range in a comfortable manner, but overall, I'm just now starting to feel a little bit of fatigue in my left hand, left arm. .380 grain arrow, and it is really quiet, really vibration free. We're going to shoot a really lightweight arrow. Here's our one of our heavier weight hunting arrows. What I like most about this bow is the accuracy. I shoot this bow 6 1/4 inch brace sight. I shoot this bow as good as some of my 7-inch brace sight bows, and I shoot it better than probably any other 6 1/4 inch brace sight bow that I've shot in the past. It is amazingly accurate and amazingly tunable. The thing really tuned out nice. I mean, really, really nice. So I'll go ahead and shoot this one. You can see there the draw cycle, even at 70 pounds, which I don't shoot every day, is really nice. Pin float is very, very minimal. Bow has just a little bit of kick to it, and you can see I'm shooting a back tension, so I'm pushing with my left hand. So that's part of the problem, part of the reason why it's pushing away from me at the shot. But overall, it's super, super quiet bow and extremely accurate. Cam lean, we'll show you cam lean on this thing. Cam lean's not bad at all because of that harness system. It overall is a pretty nice cam. Hard to have any cam lean in it. Now on the strings, I did experience just a little bit of stretch, just a little bit of peak rotation on this thing, and on the draw length, my 27.5 inch draw length on here does feel just a little bit long. It's not so bad that I feel like I need to reduce it down to 27, but it is just a touch long for me at full draw. Now this is one of our lighter weight arrows, one of our target arrows. Got a few remaining here, and you can see there, even after shooting this, I shot all these arrows the first time, like I said, and didn't push record. I'm really not feeling any fatigue, and I held this bow at full draw like I showed you earlier twice. So I'm really not feeling any fatigue with this thing right now, even though it's a higher draw weight than I shoot today. And 6 1/4 inch brace sight. I'm putting up a really good group up there, even with all these different arrows. So it is amazing how accurate this bow is. And part of that, I think, goes back to the stability of the riser. I think that really helps the overall accuracy of this bow. You can see there when I had that thing at full draw, the string comes into my nose just a little bit more than what it would at a true 27.5. Like I said, overall, it's not uncomfortable and not something that I feel is drastic enough that I need to make a change. That was my hunting arrow there, and you can tell that's a really nice quiet arrow out of this bow. So that is the PSE Evolve, and overall I am impressed with this bow. I mean, extremely impressed with this bow. I've shot a lot of PSEs over the years, but it's probably been 15 years, 20 years since I've owned a PSE and hunted with a PSE. They make good bows. They've always made good bows, but it just always seems like I find something that just edges the PSE out. One of my favorites was the DNA smooth pull and the DNA, but it just seems like I always find something that edges the PSE out when it comes time for hunting. And this year, I don't think that that's going to happen. This PSE Evolve, I'm really going to make an effort to hit the woods with this thing this year and see if I can take it out and do some hunting with it. This, in my opinion, is probably the best PSE that I have ever shot. It's up there really high on my list of favorite bows that I've ever shot. And like I said, for a PSE, that's a huge statement for me to make, because I've always found bows that I liked better for one reason or another than the PSE. With this Evolve, man, it's putting out great kinetic energy, it's putting out great speeds for me, and when you get it back at full draw, especially when I reduce it down to my draw weight, which is 62 to 65 pounds, when I get it back at full draw, man, I can hold the thing forever. It's really comfortable to shoot, it's really accurate, really tunable, and overall the 31-inch ATA doesn't feel like a 31-inch axle to axle. It feels like a lot longer bow than that, and because the pin float is very minimal. So you got a great hunting package here in the axle to axle. You got a great let off with that 90% let off, and it's still producing fantastic speeds. Like I said, with my hunting arrows, I'm producing about probably pushing 80 foot-pounds of kinetic energy out of this thing, and that is enough with my setup to shoot through anything in North America. I mean, it is going to be a fantastic bow for all around. And it's a pleasure to shoot too. I wouldn't be afraid to take this thing to a 3D course and shoot all day long with this thing. And a lot of the old PSEs, like the Omen, the Omen Max, and some of those like that, you would have never heard me say that statement of it, because they were such hard bows to shoot that they weren't enjoyable to shoot on a 3D range. This Evolve is fantastic as far as shooting goes, and I think it'd be a fantastic bow, not only for hunting, but to take on a 40 target 3D course. You know, it's going to really do a good job on a 3D course for you. So definitely check this out. This is the Evolve 31. They also have an Evolve 35. They got this Evolve cam on several of the PSE bows. And like I said, I'm going to make a real effort to get out in the woods with this PSE this year. Right now, it is the forerunner for my favorite bow, and one I'll probably end up taking to the woods if I can make that possible. So check this out at the website linked in the description below, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share these videos. That really helps us out. Or if you want to see the whole collection of videos that we've got, you can check those out on IkesOutdoors.com. And if you want to follow what we're doing, you can check us out on Facebook under Ikes Outdoors. Appreciate you guys watching.